Hi, Alex Baina here, and welcome to Chalk Talk. In this episode, we will be talking about moon phase and eclipse. Here we have two photographs. One is moonshine and the other is earthshine. A moonshine is the reflected moonlight from the night side of the earth that can be observed from the moon, and it may be called moonshine. On the other hand, earthshine is a glow which lights up the part of the moon because the sun's light reflects off the earth's surface and back to the moon. In other words, moonshine can be seen here on earth, while earthshine can be seen on the moon. To understand about moon phase, we will first have to understand what is a terminator line. A terminator line is the dividing line marking the edge between day and night on the moon. It's sometimes called the twilight zone. This line helps us determine the moon phase. Moon phases are actually the pattern of the day and night on the lunar surface that constantly changes since the Earth and the moon orbits around the sun. So now we'll talk about the first lunar phase, and this is the new moon. This is where the moon and the sun have the same ecliptic longitude, or the lunar disk is not visible because the sun is actually behind the moon. The second phase after the new moon is called the waxing crescent. Waxing means growing, so the moon starts becoming visible. The third phase is called the first quarter. This first quarter moon is a phase when half of the moon's face is lit up. The first quarter moon can be seen during the day because this rises up in the midday sky. Next to the first quarter is called the waxing gibbous. The waxing gibbous is less than the size of a full moon. However, waxing means that the moon is getting bigger. And finally, the full moon. The full moon is the actual opposite of the new moon, and the view of a fully illuminated moon can be seen. This is because the Earth is located between the sun and the moon. The waning gibbous. This is a moon phase after the full moon. The sunlight is decreasing from 99.9% to 50.1%. The third quarter moon. This is another half moon, but opposite to the first quarter moon. The waning gibbous. Waning means that the moon phase is getting smaller. It is the 8th phase after a month cycle. The question is, why is there no solar eclipse during a new moon? Eclipses do not happen every new moon because the moon's orbit is tilted just over 5 degrees relative to the sun. Solar eclipses. Solar eclipses happen when the moon passes in front of the sun, and the shadow of the moon covers a portion of our planet. In this illustration, this can be seen as a total solar eclipse. There are 3 types of solar eclipse: the total, annular, and partial solar eclipse. When we speak of total solar eclipse, the moon disk covers the sun because, as viewed from the Earth, the moon disk and the sun apparently have the same size. Annular solar eclipse, on the other hand, is a condition where the moon is far away from the Earth, and therefore the moon disk cannot totally cover the disk of the sun. Thus, produces the effect called annulus. While a partial solar eclipse, on the other hand, the moon disk only covers a portion of the disk of the sun. Now, let's talk about some of the characteristics of a total solar eclipse. In a total solar eclipse, the moon blocks the sun entirely because apparently, as viewed from the Earth, that the sun and the moon are of the same size. While the moon covers the sun disk entirely, this is an opportunity for us to see the sun's corona. The sun's corona is actually the atmosphere of the sun. A total solar eclipse can actually last for about 7 to 8 minutes. So as the moon passes over the sun, a diamond ring effect can be seen. Actually, this diamond ring effect is actually the first glimpse of direct sunlight. However, you should not expose your naked eye into this because this may damage your eye retina. Another feature is called the Bailey beads. A Bailey beads is actually like the diamond ring effect, is an illusion where the sun patches is created due to the moon craters. Now, why can't we see a lunar eclipse during a full moon? Just like the solar eclipse, a lunar eclipse do not happen every full moon because the moon's orbit is tilted again just over 5 degrees relative to the sun's ecliptic path. A lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse occurs because the Earth blocks the sun and casting a shadow onto the moon. A shadow called penumbra passes the moon and this produces a red blood moon. A penumbra is actually the outer part of a conical shadow that is cast by a celestial body such as the Earth. This causes the appearance of the red blood moon because other colors of light wave is blocked, allowing only the red spectrum to be emitted back to Earth. While there is a penumbra, there is also called an umbra, and the umbra is the innermost and the darkest part of a shadow.